All right. Good evening, Professor Zabawa. I'm pronouncing that okay. Frankly. So our first tutorial is creating the axle part. I'm just going to go through it step by step. So double click the SolidWorks icon from the desktop. We already have it up. Close the welcome dialog box. I've already pinned this here, the menu bar, create new part document. I did this step already, and this is why we have this blank screen here. And we have part 3 because it's my third iteration. I wanted to practice a little bit before doing so. So you've done these steps, view origins. Actually, sorry, it's the wrong view. Actually, no, that was right. It should still be, oh, it's not. Actually, coordinate. Huh, guess it's not clicked by default. All right, there's our origin, step 7. Learning so much about this program. I do like the fact that we have to do it, you know. The assignment was to like just read this, there would be no retention of knowledge, like an action task. It's pretty cool. I'm actually liking the interface. Very, very professional. Like I was sending introductions. I'm a Blender baby, free and open source. So it does feel familiar. It's always daunting though, learning a new interface, but this makes it pretty. All the buttons are sleekly designed. You know what I'm saying? Everything's pretty much user friendly. It's just a hurdle of, bear with me. I'm not sure why this is being so slow. It's got to be the vital source servers because, probably speaking, my internet is. I was doing this earlier today. Come on, guys. I'm doing this for a grade. Let's try. I would refresh, but I'd probably lose my place in the book. HBO Max. This is meaning not supposed to be audio. There we go. Okay. So we did step 7. Tells you about the X, Y, and Z axes. Like I was saying, Blender uses the same orientation, directional input. I think it's pretty standard amongst all 3D design programs, Maya, 3ds Max, etc. Let's see options. Okay, click on little sprocket. Now for this, I'm gonna have to go full screen because it cuts it off here, so that I can see the instructions. So we are going back at options, technical properties. This is where we are just setting um, type of measurements. Oh, here. And so overall drafting standard is ANSI, and then I believe it tells us change the dimensions. Let me go back here. ANSI drafting standard. And click under units folder. Click IPS. Okay. We're changing the units. And IPS is just selected by default. That's cool. And I think my knowledge, we're going to change this to 1 through 3 for the length basic. Length, right now it's 0.12. We want 0.123. Click OK. Now we have our proper measurements. Now we're going to move this guy over here. Cool. So we did step 10. I believe there's almost 50 steps or something. Just go through them. And like I said, Professor, I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but I'm just talking to make it a little bit more interesting. I try not to talk as fast. I kind of have the same issue, so I can relate to um, being conscious of it as well. Be a gift and a curse, eh? All right, so click the units folder. We did this, did step 13. Now we're going to save the file. So we'll click save as. Uh, create a new folder called SolidWorks. So under DBM 100, I just made homework 1 for simplicity. So this is my SolidWorks 2021 folders, homework 1. So I already have Axle, so we'll do Axle 2. So you'll see this will be a theme through all 10 videos. I feel so bad that I'm so behind, but it's just a lot to juggle with. 2 courses. I know I'm preaching to the choir. I can already tell you're busy, your family, and can imagine you're managing, oh God, what, 20 students? That's just in this class. I think I remember in your first video, you said you also do in course or something. You do something, you work full time. Yeah, that's what it is. As an engineer, that's awesome. Well, COVID, like it's just, I commend you, Professor. And trust me, this brown on my nose doesn't come off, sir. So Axel 2, I mean that. Thank you. I just hope us students aren't giving you as much as a hard time. But when you've been through online, not that I'm super experienced, you understand life happens, like people have things going on. And most of this is not to say that we don't need you, because we do, but most of it is kind of do this, you have to do it yourself. And I do enjoy your guided demos as well, which kind of motivated me to talk through this one. And I'm kind of going on a tangent, but just establishing a rapport as a student to professor. And it's going to be on YouTube and stuff. Not that anybody's going to watch it other than you, probably your family. But yeah, I just didn't want it to be as boring, like me just doing the stuff and then. But we'll see. Hopefully, I don't sound like an idiot after I play it back. Excuse me. Okay, so I want to do one take too. I'm so far behind, I don't have time to do it. So we saved it as part 2 in our homework folder, which is our SolidWorks folder. And our Axle for the file name, we did Axle 2. Save, we did that. So step 17 is complete. We're zooming right past these. It describes some of the sketching in relation to the origin, and I didn't know this. It does matter what plane you're on, like front, top, left, right. Um, I didn't think it mattered because of the origin, but something I learned in sketch states. And it's kind of telling us about the defined, undefined, fully defined, and I think they show here or inside the viewport solutions. So just FYI, but important information. So step 18, click the front plane. Sketch toolbars displayed. Remember the toolbar is document dependent. I feel like I didn't do that right. I think it's supposed to hover over sketch. I thought there was another step. Pretty much a 19.5, but there's not. Remember this toolbar is document dependent. Did that. Okay, it's fine. We're just drawing on the front plane like you showed us in the guided demo. First one. The second one, technically. The first one was a freebie. Thank you for that, by the way. I used that time to read and go over lectures and get used to this SolidWorks reference guide. I mean, it's funny because, like, this is digital, so it doesn't seem as daunting. But if it was an actual physical book, it would be well thick, probably thicker than the Bible. Book, I don't know everything that I've read it. Cover and it changed my life. Circle. Back on task, Traceston. Circle. Draw a circle. You know how to do that, right? Click on there, and then basically it tells us, see those, that's what that other page was talking about. If you see the yellow thing, then there's a straight line, and then there's a negative line. It just shows you like where you're drawing from. So the steps tells us to take it and draw it out. Let go. Got a circle. It says relation based, so it's going to be on the front plane. Should be the that. Group the origin. Drag the mouse pointer in the right origin. Position the circle. View. In this step, it's clicked by default, but I can kind of show you to completely do it. View, display. Um, no, show hide. Excuse me, I was wrong. Sketch relation. See, it's clicked there. This is the Bawa. I'll pronounce that correctly. Okay, moving right along. We did that. This was the light bulb. Right click the Smart Dimensions tool from the context. Oh, yes. You did show us how to use this as well. Now, this should have went a lot quicker, and this should go quicker because you did show us how to do a lot of this. All right, it tells us to do that. Pretty much, I am here. Now, I'm gonna keep it. Let me keep it real. It was when I watched the guided demo. Some of the stuff you did was like, not like it was because you knew how to do it, but we didn't. So it was kind of like, whoa. So I had to watch it a lot of times. But that it's good for students. Like we need to have kind of like when I was in the Air Force, attention to detail. I was a jet engine mechanic, and it's like if we didn't pay attention to everything, somebody died, man. Be in jail. Same thing with university, excuse me, college. You need to pay attention to the instructors' movements. So I wouldn't say it was a complaint. It was just something I noticed that frustrated me. But then, like, I like to take if I see something negative, or it's kind of like if I not negative, if I see something that I turn into negative, chances are it's an insecurity that I have. So instead of grumbling about it, I saw, hey, maybe I need to pay attention. Maybe it wasn't that fast, you know? All right. Okay. So we did step 29. So pretty much we changed the dimensions here, or the radius, actually the circumference, because the radius would be half. So we did circumference. Clicked OK. We did step 30. Now if it's taking too long, I might not talk on each one. But I did want to talk on the first one to show you that I was active and involved and maybe what I sound like, you know. Schedule doesn't allow me to catch the live sessions, but I do want to catch one of them. A few. I'd like to catch all of them. Like we said at the beginning, we all have life going on here. If it's not correct, you can undo it. I thank the Lord it is. So that's a cool feature, but I don't think I like it. Zoom to fit. Okay, it worked well this time. Last time it just zoomed way out. I think that was when I made it 3D. So we're getting ready to extrude. Thankfully, you showed us how to do that as well. I want you to get used to all the buttons, thousands of buttons. Make it easier. All right, so the features. Now we're going to extrude and emboss. Now, the only thing I saw that was different in this step was that we're going to be extruding it on the mid plane. So it says go here, mid plane. I think last time we just extruded with the default settings. So mid plane, and we're going to enter a depth. In this case, the requirement is 1.375 inches. Click enter, then click OK, and we got our tube. It's tubular. I don't know if it normally it tells us to save at a certain point, but I just like to save periodically. Okay. Getting there. Okay, fit the model graphics view. This is where it wants us to press the F key. And that is working like a charm, this video. It didn't last video. When I was practicing. Save the part, we skipped ahead, step 37. Today, right click the X icon in the features manual. I think that's what it's talking about. This way. Oh, this is where we change the color. Last test part we did green. Feeling blue today. Feeling a little down. Let's go blue. That's decent blue. So pretty much that was step 36 through 41. Click OK. Excuse me, to 42. Now we're gonna do 43. Press the space bar to displace presentation. I thought this was pretty cool. It's like the Zemeckis cube or something. I would like an animation scene. That's pretty cool. And it's already selected. Isometric is already selected. So it's going to be saved in that orientation. So S. So we save again. So that's 3 saves so far. It's always good to do. And that is it. So 45 steps. And if I press F, it wants to cooperate this time. Yes, it is. There's our part. There's our axle. Thank you, Professor. The following videos will probably not include my annoying voice, but I wanted to let you hear me as a student and just kind of express my thoughts and feelings. You're doing a great job. I'm praying for you, brother. I mean that. And I really appreciate what you're doing, sir. It means a lot. Thanks for tuning in. Go UAT. By the way, I don't know our mascot. UAT Hornets, Frogs, Bears, Robots. Maybe that's fitting. Geeks for us.